There are 5 main components which comprise your FICO credit score: payment history, length of credit history, new credit inquiries, the level of debt, and the types of accounts you have. Let's look at each one of them in detail. The first and most important factor is your payment history. It accounts for 30 to 35% of the whole credit score. Usually, this is the most important factor when determining a credit score, since most lenders are primarily concerned if you are able to make payments on time. Your payment history will show all, if any, late payments, missed loans, bankruptcies, and everything regarding your loans and bills. If you miss a payment, that will affect your score negatively. Payment history shows 5 main indicators. Number 1. All credit cards, retail accounts, installment loans, and mortgages, and all the payment information concerning them. Number 2. Information about previous bankruptcies, liens, suits, and delinquencies. Number 3. If you have any delinquencies, how much time they have been overdue. Number 4. How much money do you own on delinquencies or collected items? Number 5. How many past due items are listed on your credit report? The level of debt is the second main criterion that determines a credit score and makes up between 25 and 30%. This factor measures the total amount of debt a borrower has. It also shows a comparison between the total debt and credit limit, also known as credit utilization. The higher a borrower's credit utilization, the lower the credit score. The more you max out, the lower your credit score. If you want to keep your score high, you have to keep your credit balance at approximately 30% or less of your credit limit. For instance, if your credit limit is $15,000, try to spend less than $5,000 per month. In addition to staying away from your credit limit, the closer you are to paying off a loan, which is part of the total debt, the higher your score gets. The third factor that impacts your credit score is the length of credit history. This factor makes up usually 10 to 15% of your credit score. Do not underestimate this one just because it's only a small part of your credit score. It shows the history of each account you've had. The longer the history, the better. There are 3 important things that affect this factor. Number 1, the period in which your accounts have existed. Number 2, the period in which certain types of accounts have existed. Number 3, are these accounts still active or not? The above mentioned only proves that borrowers who have just taken out their first loans cannot have a very good length of credit history. Therefore, experience and time are important when determining this factor. Credit mix is another factor that determines your credit score. This component comprises up to 10% of your credit score. If a borrower has different types of accounts, this is a good sign that he can manage well a mix of credit. FICO, however, warns borrowers that they shouldn't open accounts at all costs in an attempt to improve their score. This, on the other hand, might have a negative impact on your length of credit history and can also damage the recent credit inquiries. Here's what you have to watch out for: what types of credit accounts you have, how many credit accounts you have, and recent credit inquiries. The last factor, also determining 10% of your overall FICO credit score, is the recent credit inquiries you have made. This indicator reflects how many applications for new credit within a year you have made. If you have opened too many accounts in the past 1 year, your lender might see you as a borrower who has financial problems and is risky. This will also lower your account age and will affect adversely your FICO score. However, you can request a credit report directly from your reporting agency without a negative effect on your score. Bear in mind that inquiries made by your creditors are not recorded and are not taken into account when calculating this component. Also, if a borrower wants a copy of his credit history, it will not hurt your score. In addition, not all inquiries affect it. There are 3 main important things regarding this component. Number 1, not all inquiries are included in the calculation. Number 2, usually inquiries have a small impact on the overall score. And number 3, you can do rate shopping. Only inquiries made in the last 12 months are calculated. That's it for now. On our website, you can find more posts and podcasts, as well as calculators and other financial tools. I hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to our podcast channel on YouTube. We would love to know your thoughts, so feel free to share them in the comments below.